Well, as much as we'd like to hold it back, winter is on its way, and a lot of people are thinking about buying a new vehicle, getting a new ride as we head into winter. And Ben Spatafora is with us today. He's with Car Cost Canada, and we've got some tips for you today about making that big investment, because it is a big investment. So thanks for being here, Ben.
Thank you for having me.
So outside of a house, I think this is one of the bigger investments any family makes.
That's true, especially with the cost of cars these days. It is a sizable expense.
Okay, so let's start off. You've been good enough to give us some tips in advance so we can sort of share these with our audience. The first one is taking stock. So what do you mean by taking stock?
Well, throughout the summertime, heat is a destroyer of components on cars. Mm-hmm. So you've gone through all the summertime, so you want to make sure you take stock of your particular vehicle, because as we get into wintertime, it's going to be a little colder. So you want to make sure those tires are still suitable, the windshield wipers, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So you want to take stock of what you have.
And so take stock of what you have, and if you think it's lacking in some respects, then maybe it's time to think about a new vehicle. Before we get to buying the new vehicle, what do we mean by saying family matters? Like, how does a family fit into this picture?
Same thing. So in other words, personal circumstances. Throughout the summertime, kids tend to grow. Mm-hmm. You may have added another family pet or that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So, and especially if you have an existing car and you can't fit in it, you want to make sure that you take consideration, because, as you're going down the highway, if you have too many people inside a car, that's unsafe for you, especially as the weather gets bad.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about, I believe our next one is buying a 2013 in 2013. Sounds counterintuitive, but why do we say that?
Because of incentives. So in other words, 2013s right now are at the last stage of the cycle. Mm-hmm. And if you've been eyeing that particular vehicle, you want to make sure that you want to try and buy it now, because maybe there's a model change coming. Okay. So that's why for 2013, and there could be incentives as well that the manufacturers are providing so that you buy that car sooner.
Because obviously they're last year's model. The 2014s are coming in. They're going to want to move this product.
Precisely.
Okay. What about buying a 2014? It seems to go against what we just said to people, but what about buying a 2014 once they hit the lot?
Well, 2014s have perhaps a new style, and manufacturers want that new car in the hands of consumers and moms and dads. They want to be able to drive them to the soccer, to hockey, that sort of thing, so that they get a lot of advertising for their new product.
So the whole idea is to not so much like, oh, I'll get a 2014 because it's this or it's that. You're saying if you're going to buy a 2014, buy it once it hits the lot, because they're going to be wanting to push those products into the marketplace.
Absolutely, and as well as you'll be front running on the year. So in other words, 3 years from now, it may not seem like a 4-year-old vehicle. So
okay,
that'd be an advantage for you.
That's kind of a nice psychological advantage as well. And what do we mean by buying like a pro, by acting like a pro?
We want consumers to be confident when they go to the dealership. So one of the things that you should know is that you should know the vehicle that you're wanting to buy. And that means research, and manufacturers have great websites. You also want to be able to talk the same language as that particular dealer. And as well as that, you want to use what I call a price report that shows you the costs that the dealer paid to the manufacturer, and that way you can negotiate on a level playing ground with that dealer.
And that's the thing, is that it's so oftentimes when you go into a dealership, they'll pull out our black book says, your vehicle is worth this, the new vehicle is worth that. Is there a comparable thing? Can consumers find web resources, go to your web, or go to the library and find comparable sort of books to give them a sense of what the price range is?
Yes, I mean, with the new vehicles, again, our website is the best one for it, because it provides that cost, the incentives, that sort of thing. When it comes to used, you want to check some of the reselling websites that are available. Sure. Black books and that sort of thing are a good source, and they're a guide, but really it's that checkbook that determines the value at the end of the day.
Exactly. It's worth what you'll pay. Great to have you here. Some terrific ideas. For more information on this, or to find out what Car Cost Canada does in terms of helping you buy a car, you can certainly check out their website. And thanks very much for being here. We certainly appreciate your time and your expertise, Ben.
Thank you again.
All right, it's time for your Hollywood headlines.